I want to get a sense of what's the buzz on the street here, and it's about Barack Obama. Everybody's going nuts over Obama. I don't know what he's done. I just flat out don't know what he's done. And if I'm missing something, and I know what it is, but I'm not convinced at all. And I want to know if you're convinced, or if you think he's the real deal, or if you think, hey, wait a minute, show me something first. So give us a call here at 866-303-2270, 866-303-2270.
Cenk, to be your first caller here, America doesn't need that anymore, and I don't know that they ever needed that, to be honest with you. I mean, the record of somebody who's running, America wants a vision. People in America are hungry for a vision. Ronald Reagan is a perfect example of that. Yes, he was a governor of California. Yes, he was an activist in the union. He was an actor. He had all these things, but he offered a vision. There's been no vision in America since Bill Clinton left office, and certainly since he ran in '96.
Okay, watch this. What's Barack Obama's vision?
Well, Barack Obama's vision is certainly about an equality to government, an equality to education, and to take America from a place that is right now sort of in a sour mood about the situation, and put some light on America, and to put some light on jobs, and to re-examine trade agreements that are putting Americans out of work. I mean, there's an optimism is what it is, and I think his optimism is what they hope will be contagious.
What is his vision on international diplomacy?
Well, just that. Yeah. International diplomacy. We don't have international diplomacy.
Relations.
He has said over and over that it's about diplomacy.
Well, Michael and Jill, I hear absolutely nothing from that.
No. Well, wait a second. Optimism. Wait a second, Jake. Optimism is a look. Ronald Reagan ran and re-ran for president on Morning in America. I mean, you fell for it.
Michael,
you were out there voting for it. No. I'm just saying. I'm saying that optimism is in fact a departure from where we are. That is a vision.
No, you know who's optimistic right now? President Bush.
No, I don't believe that President Bush
Didn't
is
he just say the experience that he's going through right now with the war in Iraq is joyous?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't believe the President's optimistic, and he certainly does not, like Jimmy Carter, portray any kind of image of optimism.
I just read an article about how in privacy there's sort of this down feeling amongst Republicans, and he's actually the one that'll come up and pat people on the back, be like, it's not that bad.
I got to tell you that
okay.
the perception about this man, and from a lot of people, from within his own party and from without, is that he is not a substantive person. And I think that there's not that question about Barack Obama. There's not that question about John McCain or Hillary Clinton. I don't know enough about Mitt Romney to say that, but I think that these are people who are thought of as
Michael,
being far more substantive.
I'm the most optimistic guy I know. Can I run for president?
No, not just on that, but you do have. Listen, I think
Obama is. I think we're going to make millions on this show.
Obama is too green. He is too green, in many people's opinions, to run for president. But there's sort of a Robert F. Kennedy-esque feeling about him, and there's a perfect example. I mean, he was the Attorney General to his brother.
I know, but he did great work as Attorney General. I mean, the guy almost single-handedly took down the mob. No, I'd say that's good experience.
Yeah, but that's Giuliani experience. I mean, I'm not demeaning him, but I'm just saying that a lot of what he was talking about was marching in lockstep with the civil rights movement, literally marching, and also playing that balance in Washington, but also portraying optimism for the people who are downtrodden. It's not the same atmosphere that Obama's walking into. I'm not saying I'm going to sit and run and vote for him either. I mean, there are a lot of Democrats that I like who might run for president, so and he's one of them.
But see, the thing about Barack Obama, and I don't know if it's Ben or you that brings up this point, and I think the reason we feel so comfortable with him and we like his character and he seems fresh is because we don't know a goddamn thing about him. He's been around for now maybe 4 years, 3.5 years. We don't know anything about him. He hasn't been in the Senate long enough to really make an impact. He hasn't come out strong on anything, but he makes these great motivational speeches, and he's got a lot of passion. He's very articulate, and he revs up the crowd. But what are his beliefs?
We know. I mean, I think by default we know a lot of his beliefs. He's a Democrat. He's a Democrat in the Senate that has been thoughtful on issues.
He's been a Democrat in the Senate when the Democrats in the Senate needed to be extremely strong. to try to control the executive branch and try to rein in the presidential powers. And he has not come out and been outspoken about that, where some people have.
I disagree, Jill. I think that there are certain senators in the evolution of a senator. You're not getting any argument with me. He's not typically ready to be president. He doesn't have that track record, which may work to his benefit, frankly.
That's what I'm saying. I think people like him because there hasn't really been anything negative about him yet.
But also, he shouldn't be faulted for not being an impactful senator yet, because the way the Senate works and always has worked is that the first few years of your Senate service is never spent being outspoken and taking
whatever.
Well, say whatever, Jank. That's just the way it works,
Okay,
and
so
it doesn't have to
vote
work
for
that
me.
way.
Vote for me, because tradition says that I was supposed to shut up, and I did.
And I'm optimistic.
And he did. And he also
anything.
didn't shut up, and he didn't not
Sure he
do
did.
anything.
He shut up all the
shut
time.
up. He didn't.
What's his strong stance on what issue? Go.
Well, he was disappointing on Katrina. Frankly, he was speaking too late on Katrina.
Right.
And
what about Alito and the filibuster?
Well, Alito and the filibuster, he was in I think politically a very tough spot for. Well,
why is it tough?
Well,
I'm against him. I'm going to filibuster.
It's tough because there were people on his committee that and in the Senate, and that goes to to what happens to senators when they are new senators.
So he's really not a leader. He's just a really good politician.
Well, no,
bingo.
Wrong. I think that he has every evidence that he can be a leader. Nobody can name for me one senator. Name for me one senator in their first 2 years in the Senate who has come out as a leader. Name one for me. Especially in the minority.
Michael, you're asking me to go back and find the track record of all the senators.
No, I'm just saying. You're
off the top of my head, I would.
You're
guess.
assailing this guy for not being a leader,
Well,
and when in fact he's.
I think we're only saying that because
there's two huge problems with what Michael is saying.
He's stepping up for the presidency, so of course we're going to look at those.
Yeah, of course. That's another great point by Jill. It's like, what did Herb Kohl do in his first 2 years? Who cares? He's not running for president. Second of all, my guess is based on his track record. Feingold stepped up in his first 2 years. He's a great senator who's always had the courage to say exactly what's right. Damn the consequences. That's a leader. That's not a politician. And second of all, it was not an ordinary 2 years. It was a 2 years where we desperately needed leadership.
We did, but it was an ordinary 2 years in that it was an ordinary 2 years for a minority party that was a minority party in both houses of Congress and didn't have the White House. That's always ordinary. That map is always
ordinary to abuse the powers as much as they did.
Well, it certainly isn't ordinary to do that, but the part of the reason they were able to get away with that
was because the Democratic senators kept their mouths shut and waved as they did it.
I disagree.
All right. When we come back, we're going to take more of your calls. And actually, the more we talk about this, the more I get amped up against Obama, funny enough. But I know a lot of you are positive on him.
And by the way, he was a leader in the Illinois State Senate. He was a civil rights attorney. No, but you ask how he becomes a leader.
He necessarily be for or against Obama right now. It's hard to say whether you like him or not because he hasn't really come out on anything.
He also hasn't said he's running for president, by the way.
When I was part of the Key Club back in East Brunswick High School, I was a leader.
That has nothing to do with it. The state senate in Illinois is actually a very activist state senate. He came from a rank-and-file member of that state senate to its leadership. He was a civil rights attorney. He was the leader in his class at Harvard. He has exhibited leadership at every point of time in part of his history, just the way Bill Clinton did. This is somebody who has been.
I was honorable mention all-county linebacker at East Brunswick High School.
It doesn't quite count.
Okay.